Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take sources you suggest and, well, we dive deep, helping you get informed fast. Today, our listener, The Learner, gave us a really interesting ancient story. And The Learner, we get it. You want efficient knowledge, those great aha moments, clear structure, but, without feeling bogged down.
Absolutely. So this deep dive is tailored for that.
Perfect.
And for this mission, The Learner sent over excerpts from a Pali text, Saṅkiccasāmaṇeravatthu, and also its Thai translation.
Saṅkiccasāmaṇeravatthu. That basically means the story of the novice monk Saṅkicca, right?
Exactly. And our goal here is to explore the story, look at these powerful themes, compassion, sacrifice, and interestingly, the unexpected influence of someone really young.
Okay, let's jump in. The story starts with 30 monks, disciples, right? 5 years ordained.
Yeah, experienced monks. And they want to go deeper with their practice.
Deeper how?
They want to head into the forest, focus on insight meditation of Pisan.
Okay, makes sense. Forest retreat. So what's the first hurdle?
Well, they need permission. They have to go to the Buddha first.
Standard procedure.
Right. But the Buddha, he has this foresight. He knows there's danger waiting for them in that particular forest they've decked out.
Danger? Like wild animals or?
It seems more significant than that. Something that could really block their spiritual progress.
Okay, so he knows this. Does he just tell them, don't go there?
Not quite. It's more subtle. He tells them that the solution actually lies with a young novice monk, Saṅkicca.
A young novice?
Yeah. He reveals that if Saṅkicca goes with them, his presence will somehow protect them from this danger. And not just protect them, but actually ensure their practice succeeds.
Wow. Okay. That's unexpected.
Yeah.
A young kid is the safeguard for 30 seasoned monks.
Exactly. It immediately makes you ask, who is this Saṅkicca?
Right. We definitely need his backstory. What's so special about him?
Well, for starters, he's only 7 years old,
Okay.
a novice monk under the venerable Sāriputta.
Sāriputta, one of the Buddha's chief disciples.
Okay. And Saṅkicca's origins, even before monkhood, are pretty extraordinary. His mother sadly passed away from an illness while he was still in the womb.
Oh, that's terrible. A really tragic start.
It is. But then, at her cremation, something truly miraculous happens.
Yeah.
While his mother's body is cremated, the unborn child Saṅkicca remains completely untouched by the fire.
Untouched by cremation flames. That's impossible.
It defies explanation, yeah. And it doesn't stop there. They then try to cremate the child's body separately, still unharmed, completely untouched. The text says he appeared like a radiant golden image resting on a lotus flower in the embers.
A golden image on a lotus in the fire.
That's incredibly symbolic, isn't it? Purity, enlightenment.
Exactly. It screams that this is no ordinary child. So naturally, they consulted fortune tellers.
I bet they did. What did they predict for this miracle baby?
2 main paths. If he lived a normal life as a householder, his family would prosper, like big time, for 7 generations.
Wow, okay. Influence and prosperity.
But if he chose the monastic path, became a monk.
He would eventually be accompanied by 500 other monks. A huge spiritual following.
500 monks. That points to a major spiritual impact. And his name, Saṅkicca, that also has a story, doesn't it? Kind of a painful one.
It does, yeah. It relates back to those attempts to cremate him, actually. Apparently, his eye socket got pierced by a pin, maybe during the efforts to handle the body.
Ouch.
So he was initially known by something related to that incident, and it evolved into Saṅkicca, a name linked directly to his miraculous survival.
So this boy, amazing origins, is raised by relatives. And the plan is for Sāriputta to ordain him eventually.
Right. But then something happens when he's still very young.
What's that?
He's only 7 when he hears the full story of his birth, the fire, the predictions, and he just immediately wants to renounce lay life. He declares right then and there, I want to be ordained.
At 7? That's incredible conviction for a child. How did his family react?
Well, given everything, they respected his wish. Maybe they remembered the prophecies. They took him straight to Sāriputta.
And Sāriputta, the great disciple, ordained him.
He did, gave him the basic meditation objects, the starting points for practice.
And how did Saṅkicca take to monastic life?
Remarkably, the text says, shortly after ordination, he attained enlightenment.
Enlightenment. At 7. Just like that.
Just like that, full awakening, a deep realization of truth, the end of suffering. This kid is truly exceptional.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we understand why the Buddha sees him as key. So the Buddha tells the 30 monks what exactly?
Knowing Saṅkicca's role, he tells the 30 monks, before you go to the forest, you must go take leave of Sāriputta. Sāriputta was like their elder brother in the Dharma.
It's a sign of respect.
Yes, and acknowledging the community structure. It's a necessary step.
And the monks, they just obey.
Oh, yeah. They go straight to Sāriputta, explain the Buddha told them to seek his blessing before they left for the retreat.
So Sāriputta gets the message.
Yeah.
He understands why the Buddha sent them.
He's tuned in, and Sāriputta then tells the 30 monks, okay, you need to take Saṅkicca with you.
Huh. I can just imagine their faces.
Yeah.
30 serious monks heading for intense practice, and now they have to bring a 7-year-old.
Right. It totally changes the dynamic, and they did object initially.
Understandably.
They voiced concerns, the responsibility, looking after a child in the forest while trying to meditate.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Seems like a fair point. How did Sāriputta convince them?
He insisted. He explained that Saṅkicca's well-being was somehow tied to their well-being on this trip, their safety, their progress. He stressed that the Buddha specifically wanted them together.
Okay, so if the Buddha wants it.
Exactly. They trusted the Buddha's wisdom, Sariputta's guidance. So the 30 elder monks, plus young Saṅkicca, they set off for the forest.
Right, the journey begins. 30 monks and one enlightened 7-year-old. Do they run into that danger right away?
Not straight away, no. First, they reach this village, quite a prosperous place.
Okay.
And the villagers are thrilled to see them. They offer hospitality, ask them to stay for the whole rainy season retreat.
The Vasa, the rains retreat.
Right. They ask the monks to guide them, observe the precepts, the special observance days, the upasatha.
Sounds like a good arrangement.
Yeah.
A break for the monks, and the villagers get guidance. Did they accept?
They did. The villagers took really good care of them. And the monks set up a very strict routine for themselves.
Oh, I know.
Alternating intense meditation, study, mindful movement, basically making sure they stayed focused, didn't get distracted by village life during the retreat.
Okay, so it's peaceful, disciplined, but the danger the Buddha mentioned is still looming somewhere. Where does it come from?
It arrives through hardship, actually. There's a poor man in the village. He was supporting his daughter, but then a famine hits the area hard.
Oh, dear.
He gets desperate. He has another daughter somewhere else he needs to try and support. So he decides he has to leave the village, hit the road.
And this desperate journey leads him to the monks.
It does. The elder monks are coming back from their alms round one day.
Collecting food.
Exactly. And they find this man by a river, clearly starving. So being compassionate, they share their food with him. It's a monastic custom. You share with a newcomer if you can.
A simple act of kindness. Did it make a difference?
Huge difference. The man was so grateful, he decided to stay with the monks, help them out, serve them however he could.
So he finds a place, a purpose, temporarily.
Yeah, he serves the 30 monks diligently for about 2 months.
Oh, bad beak up.
But then he starts really missing his daughter, longing to see her. He decides he has to leave.
Okay. Does he tell the monks?
No. And this is described as his big mistake, his transgression. He worries they'll try and stop him, maybe out of concern, so he just slips away.
Without asking permission.
Leaving without a word. That's not good. And where does he go?
Unfortunately, his journey takes him into that dangerous forest the Buddha warned about.
Ah, here it comes.
And this forest is home to a band of 500 robbers.
500? That's terrifying. Are they just regular bandits? Worse. They have this pact. They've promised a local forest deity that they'll sacrifice anyone who trespasses into their territory.
Human sacrifice. Oh, no.
Yeah. The robber chief is up in a tree on lookout, spots the poor man coming, he alerts the others.
So they grab him?
Instantly. Capture him, tie him up, start building a fire, preparing stakes. They're getting ready for the ritual sacrifice.
This poor guy. His desperation led him right into a death trap.
Totally. And seeing those preparations, the fire, the stakes, he panics. Absolute terror.
I can't imagine.
And in that terror, he completely forgets the monk's kindness. All he wants is to save his own skin.
What does he do?
He lies. He tells the robbers, look, I'm just a nobody, an outcast. Sacrificing me won't impress your deity much.
Okay. Trying to downplay his value.
Exactly. Then he says, but there are 30 really virtuous monks living nearby in that village I just left. They'd be a much better sacrifice, way more pleasing to your deity.
No, he wouldn't. He'd betray the monks who fed him.
He does. It's shocking. Utter desperation and fear talking.
That's awful. Do the robbers believe him?
They do. A bigger, better sacrifice. Sounds good to them. They make the poor man their guide.
So he leads them right to the monk's dwelling.
Right to the monastery. But when they get there, it's empty.
Empty. Oh, right. The monks would be meditating or studying in their huts, maybe. or out?
Probably in their individual huts, following their strict routine. The robbers are angry. They demand to know where the monks are.
And the poor man, does he back down now?
No, he doubles down on the betrayal. He knows their schedule. He tells the robbers they're in their huts meditating. Then he says, "Strike the monastery gong. That's the signal for emergencies. They'll all come running to the main hall."
He's setting them up completely, leading them right into the trap.
It's a terrible act, and the robbers do it. They strike the gong loudly.
And the monks?
They hear it, assume someone's sick or needs help. You know, the usual reason for the gong outside of scheduled times. So they all gather in the central hall, concerned, unsuspecting.
So there they are, the 30 monks, gathered by a false alarm, face to face with 500 robbers. What happens next?
The Saṅkiccasāmaṇera, he's the most senior monk there, steps forward, very bravely asks the robbers, "What's going on? Why are you here?"
And the robber leader tells them,
Bluntly, says, "We have this deal with the forest spirit. We need one of you for a sacrifice."
just like that, a death sentence delivered. How did the monks react? Must have been terrifying.
It must have been. But their response is, well, it's incredible. The Mahathera, the great elder, immediately says, "It's the eldest's duty to take the burden. Take me. Let the others continue their practice." He offers himself.
Wow. Complete selflessness.
But then the Anuthera, the next most senior, steps up. "No," he says, "it's the younger ones who should bear this." And he offers himself.
They're arguing over who gets to be sacrificed.
Exactly. One by one, all 30 of the elder monks volunteer, each insisting it's their duty to protect the others. The text specifically says none of them could bear to point to another monk and say, "Take him."
That's profound. The depth of their compassion, their training, just wow. Where's Saṅkicca in all this, the 7-year-old?
He's there. He's watching this whole exchange. And then this 7-year-old novice steps forward.
What does he do?
He tells the elders, "Stop. I will go."
The kid volunteers. After seeing 30 elders offer themselves.
Yes. He declares he'll go in their place.
What do the elders say? They can't possibly let him.
They refuse immediately. Absolutely not. They tell him, "We wouldn't sacrifice any of our brothers, and especially not you."
Why, especially him?
Saṅkicca asks why. And they explain, "You're the novice of the Dharma commander Sāriputta. What would we tell him if we handed you over to robbers?" They fear Sāriputta's reaction, his reproach.
Makes sense. But Saṅkicca,
Yeah.
he knows something they don't, perhaps.
He gently reminds them, "Didn't the Buddha and Sāriputta send me with you for a reason? Perhaps this is the reason." He insists. He's resolved.
So such wisdom and acceptance from someone so young, do they finally agree?
Faced with his calm insistence and maybe remembering the prophecies, they seem to relent, though heartbroken. He pays respects to all 30 monks, asks forgiveness for any past offenses.
A formal farewell.
Yes. The monks are overcome with grief. The Mahathera tells the robbers, "Take him aside. Don't let him see the preparations. He'll be frightened."
Trying to shield him even then.
So the robbers take Saṅkicca away, finish their preparations, fire, stake, everything's ready.
Okay, this is it. The moment of truth.
The robber leader steps up with his sword, raises it to behead Saṅkicca. He strikes, but the sword, it doesn't cut. It just bends, like hitting rubber.
It bends on a child's neck.
It bends completely. He tries again. Same result. The sword just warps, fails to inflict any harm whatsoever.
That's a miracle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The text says even if a mountain fell on him then, it wouldn't have hurt him, let alone a sword.
Wow. How does the robber chief react to his sword bending like a toy?
He's stunned. Absolutely stunned. He looks at this sword, this blade that could cut stone, hardwood, and now it's like a palm leaf against this boy.
That must have shaken him to his core.
It did. He has this sudden realization. He thinks, even my sword, an inanimate object, recognizes this boy's merit, and I, a living being, was going to kill him.
A moment of profound insight.
Completely transformative. He throws the sword down, prostrates himself right there at Saṅkicca's feet.
From executioner to devotee in an instant.
Yes. He's amazed by Saṅkicca's calmness, his radiance, even facing death. He even recites a verse asking Saṅkicca why he isn't scared.
And Saṅkicca, what does he say?
Saṅkicca, who the text implies was deep in meditation through all this, comes out of that state and teaches him.
Teaches the robber chief.
Yes, teaches him about the equanimity of an enlightened person, how the body is just a burden you eventually lay down. He recites verses about freedom from fear, from attachment, from craving, about seeing reality clearly, and how peaceful death is when you've let go of everything.
Incredible teachings, especially from a 7-year-old to a hardened criminal. Did it work?
Profoundly. The robber leader is deeply moved. He turns to his 500 followers. "What should we do now?" he asks them.
And what do the other robbers say?
They just say, "You're our leader, whatever you decide."
So it's his call.
It is, and he declares, after seeing this, after hearing this, "My old life means nothing. I want to become a monk under him, under Saṅkicca."
Wow. And the other 500?
They all agree. Every single one of them wants to renounce their past and follow Saṅkicca.
500 robbers wanting ordination on the spot. How does Saṅkicca even handle that?
With amazing composure, he takes their own swords.
And weapons.
Yes, uses them to cut their hair, cut their rough clothes into makeshift robes, dyes the cloth, dresses them, and establishes them all in the basic 10 precepts for monks. Ordains the entire band right there.
Turning weapons of violence into tools of renunciation. That's powerful symbolism. So now Saṅkicca has 500 new monks. What's the next step?
He decides they need to go back to the 30 elder monks. He's worried about them, figures they won't be able to practice properly, consumed with anxiety about what happened to him.
That's very considerate of him, thinking of their peace of mind.
Yeah, so he leads this huge procession of newly ordained monks back to the elders.
What was the reunion like? The elders must have been relieved doesn't even cover it.
Overjoyed, absolutely overjoyed and stunned to see him alive, let alone surrounded by 500 monks in robes.
Did he explain what happened?
He did. When they asked how he survived, he told them the whole story. The sword bending, the chief's transformation, the mass ordination.
They must have been utterly amazed. What happened after that?
Saṅkicca took his new disciples to see his own teacher, Sāriputta.
Ah, reporting back.
Exactly. Sāriputta acknowledges Saṅkicca's incredible success, and then finally the whole group, Saṅkicca, the 30 elders, the 500 former robbers, they all go to see the Buddha.
And Saṅkicca tells the Buddha the whole story.
Recounts everything that happened.
And what's the Buddha's response, his final teaching on this?
The Buddha confirms it all happened, as Saṅkicca said. And then he delivers the core teaching from this. He says that even one single day lived virtuously, with self-control, is better than 100 years lived immorally and without restraint.
Quality over quantity, essentially. The value of a virtuous life.
Precisely. He connects it directly to the story they've all witnessed and recites a verse emphasizing that very point. A short, ethical life outweighs a long, uncontrolled one.
What an amazing narrative, just packed with, well, compassion, as you said, incredible self-sacrifice from the elders, and then this totally unexpected power coming from Saṅkicca, the youngest one there.
Right. His courage is just phenomenal, and his presence literally transforms hundreds of lives.
Absolutely. And for you, the learner, maybe the aha moment here is seeing how these deep spiritual ideas aren't just abstract concepts. They're lived out in this gripping story. True strength isn't brute force.
No, it's inner strength. It's virtue, compassion, that fearlessness Saṅkicca showed. That's the real power.
So the learner, as you think about this story, maybe reflect on those themes, or courage, influence. Does this change how you think about where strength comes from, or who can actually make a difference?
Yeah, and maybe a final thought to chew on. How often do we look at someone young or someone who seems inexperienced or maybe just quiet and underestimate their potential, their capacity for wisdom, for impact?
Good question. What assumptions might we carry around about that? What might we need to question in ourselves? Well, thank you so much, the learner, for pointing us to this. What a fantastic story for a deep dive. Really appreciate you sharing those sources.
Absolutely. A truly memorable one.